ओम ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति
ईश्वरो
गुरुरात्मेति
मूर्तिभेद विभागिने
मूर्तिभेदविभागिने
व्योमवद्व्याप्त देहाय
व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय
देहाय
दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
नामूर्तये नमः।
सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
सदाशिवसमारम्भाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम्
वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्।
वन्दे
वन्दे
गुरुपरम्पराम्।
गुरुपरम्पराम्।
ॐ सहना भवतु
ॐ
सहना
सहना भवतु
सहनौ भुनक्तु
सहनौ
सहनौ भुनक्तु
सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै
सह वीर्यं
वीर्यं
करवावहै।
करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै।
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै।
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ
ॐ
शान्ति
शान्ति
शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयम्।
ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयम्
व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम्।
व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम्।
अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम्
अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम्
अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्।
अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्।
यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः
यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः
वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगाः।
वेदै साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदै गायन्ति सामगाः।
ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः।
ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः।
यस्यान्तन्न विदुः सुराः सुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः।
यस्यान्तं न विदुषुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः।
सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वशक्तिसमन्विते
सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वशक्तिसमन्विते
भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवी दुर्गे देवी नमोऽस्तुते
भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवी दुर्गे देवी नमोऽस्तुते
रोगान् शेषान् पहंसि तुष्टा रुष्टा तु कामान् सकलानभीष्टान्
रोगान् शेषान् तुष्टा रुष्टा कामान् सकलानभीष्टान्
त्वामाश्रितान् विपन्नराणां त्वामाश्रिता ह्यश्रयतां प्रयान्ति
विपन्नराणां त्वामाश्रिताश्रयतां प्रयान्ति
सर्वा बाधा प्रशमनं त्रैलोक्यस्याखिलेश्वरी
सर्वबाधाप्रशमनं त्रैलोक्यस्याखिलेश्वरी
एवमेव त्वया कार्यम् अस्मद्वैरिविनाशनम्
एवमेव त्वया कार्यम् अस्मद्वैरिविनाशनम्
सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वशक्तिसमन्विते
सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वशक्तिसमन्विते
भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवी दुर्गे देवी नमोऽस्तुते
भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवी दुर्गे देवी नमोऽस्तुते
रोगान् शेषान् पहंसि तुष्टा रुष्टा तु कामान् सकलानभीष्टान्
रोगान् शेषान् पहंसि तुष्टा रुष्टा कामान् सकलानभीष्टान्
त्वामाश्रितान् विपन्नराणां त्वामाश्रिता ह्यश्रयतां प्रयान्ति सर्वा बाधा प्रशमनं त्रैलोक्यस्याखिलेश्वरी
सर्वबाधाप्रशमनं त्रैलोक्यस्याखिलेश्वरी
एवमेव त्वया कार्यम् अस्मद्वैरिविनाशनम्
एवमेव त्वया कार्यम् अस्मद्वैरिविनाशनम्
सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वशक्तिसमन्विते
सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वशक्तिसमन्विते
भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवी दुर्गे देवी नमोऽस्तुते
भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवी दुर्गे देवी नमोऽस्तुते
रोगान् शेषान् पहंसि तुष्टा रुष्टा तु कामान् सकलानभीष्टान्
रोगान् शेषान् पहंसि तुष्टा रुष्टा तु कामान् सकलानभीष्टान्
त्वामाश्रितान्नान्न विपन्नराणां त्वामाश्रिता यश्रयतां प्रयान्ति
त्वामाश्रितानां त्वामाश्रिताश्रयतां प्रयान्ति
सर्वबाधाप्रशमनं त्रैलोक्यस्याखिलेश्वरी
सर्वबाधाप्रशमनं त्रैलोक्यस्याखिलेश्वरी
एवमेव त्वया कार्यम् अस्मद्वैरिविनाशनम्
एवमेव कार्यम् अस्मद्वैरिविनाशनम्
यल्लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभम् मन्यते नाधिकं ततः यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचाल्यते तं विद्या दुःखसंयोग वियोगं योगसंज्ञितम् स निश्चयेन योक्तव्यः योगो निर्विण्णचेतसा संकल्पप्रभवान् कामान् त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् शेषतः मनसेवेन्द्रियग्रामम् विनियम्य समन्ततः शनैः शनैरुपरमेत् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत् Until now, we have seen 7 different features of Dhyana Swarupa. Last week we have seen. And first features of Dhyana Swarupa means Chitta Uparamanam, which is given in Yada Viniyatam Chittam Atmani Eva Tishtati. So when a person is totally master of one's own mind, then Atmani Eva Avatishtati. That mind remains, abides in only Atma. So it's called Chitta Uparamanam. Atma Darshanam. Another features of Dhyana. And in that we have seen Atmana Atmanam Pashyan Atmani Tushyati. Atmana, with the help of mind, Atmanam means consciousness, Pashyan, seeing consciousness, that person rejoices in the mind. It's called Atma Darshanam. That also we have seen is 20th verse of 6th chapter. Then because of what is the another features of Dhyana Swarupa, then Atyantik Sukham. Sukham Atyantikam Yattat Buddhigrahyam Atindriyam. Atyantikam Sukham means ultimate happiness. Another happiness which comes from sense object. They also give happiness, sense object, but these all happiness are temporary because they are time bound. Atyantikam means it's a timeless, it is not bound by time, because a person who knows one's own real nature is also not bound by time. That's why this Sukham is Atyantikam Sukham, Buddhi Grayam Atindriyam. There is no need of sense organs to objectify consciousness, because there is no role of sense organs. That's why Bhagavan says Atindriyam. It's only can understood through intellect only, that we have seen in detail. Fourth one, Dhyana Swarupa, is that person is totally committed in the nature of truth. Tattvanishtaha. Vetti yatra na cha eva ayam sthitaha chalati tattvataha. Vetti, same, a person who knows Atyantikam Sukham, that person sthitaha is well rooted, and tattvataha na chalati. He never moves away from the real nature of oneself. This tattvanishta, and we have seen that example. A women in India, they always hold pot on their head. Still, they keep on talking. They keep on different type of activity also. But one corner they know, there is a pot on my hand, on my head. It's called nishtaha, pot nishtaha. Same way all gnanis are tattva nishtaha. Sixth one we have seen. Fifth one is Atyantika Labham. That was Atyantika Sukham. This is called Atyantika Labham. Gain. Labham means gain. Atyantika means ultimate gain. After having this gain, we never even ask for another worldly gain. Yan labdva aparam labham adhikam na manyate. Having gained this knowing of one's own nature, then we never ask, is anything more compared to this gain? We never ask. That's why it's called is the ultimate gain. And last one is Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti. All are Atyantika, means absolute, ultimate, Dukkha Nivritti. Whatever dukkha comes, but it never moved away. Guruna api na vichalyate. He never affected, because yes means sthita. That person is well rooted in one's own nature. That is consciousness. And yesterday we have seen, in last week we have also seen, this dukkha or belongs to vyavaharik satta. But that person knows my real nature is paramarthik nature. So all this, whatever happening here, is like a dream. If dream is not true, this waking state, which we consider as a vyavaharik satta, is also not true. It's a mithya. It doesn't come in true also, it doesn't come in mithya, false also. It is in between, it's mithya. So atyantik dukkha nivritti. So there are 6 features. Now 7th one, Bhagavan is going to tell, and here Bhagavan is given a new definition of yoga. Until now we have seen yoga means meditation. Yoga means Patanjali yoga. We have seen different type of definition of yoga, but here different definition will come. So here I have written Shankar Bhashya. Yatra paramate chittam iti adi arabhya. This all Dhyana Swarupa starts from where? Yatra viniyate chittam atmaniva tishtate. From that shloka, this iti adi arabhya, this is begun from that verse. Yavad bihi, until now, vishishta visheshanehi. Different type of adjective, like what I have given, tattvanishtaha, atyantik sukham, atyantik dukkha nivritti, is called different type of adjectives. Atma avastha vishesha yoga. Bhagavan has defined Atma Avastha. The nature of one's own is specifically Ukta, that yoga means that meditation, then Dhyana, Ukta is said by Bhagavan. But now, new definition of yoga is taught by Lord. So in 23rd verse is a new definition. And what is the definition of yoga? So Bhagavan says, yoga means dukkha sanyoga vayogam is equal to yoga. This is a new definition. So first is tam vidyat. Tam means to that. Vidyat, one should know. One may know. Yoga sangitam. Here the meaning of sangitam is called, named by yoga. What is called or named by yoga? The Bhagavan says, dukkha sanyoga viyogam. This is samasa, compound. First is viyoga. Viyoga means dissociation. Dissociation from what? The Bhagavan says, dissociation from association with sorrow is equal to yoga. So, dukkha sanyoga means generally we are always with pain only. So generally people is dukkha sanyoga, are always connected with dukkha sanyoga, but who knows one's own nature, immediately that viyoga, dissociation will take place, but dissociation of association with pain. It's called, Bhagavan says, yoga. It's called yoga. And this meditation is very much helpful. That's why Bhagavan says, Anirvinna chetasa. Nirvin, meaning of nirvin is dejected. Sometimes we sit in meditation. If we cannot properly sit, then we feel dejected. So the meaning of anirvinna means without feeling dejected. Like that mind, yogaha yoktavyaha. That yoga, and which yoga? Dukkha sanyoga viyoga. That meditation, yoktavyaha, should be pursued. Here also, tavya pratyaya. Previous class we have seen parihartavyaha, kartavyaha. Here, yoktavyaha. Yokta means to join. Tavyaha, definitely one should join. But if it free translation, one should pursue this yoga nishchayena, definitely. So now see Anvaya. So Anvaya, tam vidyat, that may you know, may one should know. Yoga sangnitam, tam yoga sangitam, called by yoga. And what is the name of that yoga? Dukkha sanyoga yoga, dissociation from association with dukkha or pain. And this is very helpful. We can away from our pain. That's why Bhagavan says, Anirvinna chetasa, without feeling any dejection, sanishchayena yoktavyaha. That yoga should definitely, one should pursue. One should join. This yoga shabda is made out of one verb, is called yunja. Really speaking, the meaning of yunja is to connect. That's why yoga. So whenever yoga comes, so something is going together. It's called yoga. So when we are sit in meditation, so one meaning is yoga means connecting two things. We are connecting, dhyata is connecting with dhyeya. That's why yoga. So our mind, if we connect with Atma, or our mind connect with Ishvara, that's why it's called yojana or yoga. So one meaning of yoga means connection with two things. In meditation, meditator is connected with the object of meditation. It's called yoga. But another meaning of same verb, yunja, is nirodha, to control, to stop. Here is joining, here is stopping, is totally opposite. And that definition is given in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Yoga means chitta vritti nirodha. That definition is given in Patanjali. So nirodha again is stopping, to stop. And what one should stop? Chitta vritti, the thinking process is not stop, but one should control one's own thinking process is called nirodha. So here, this meaning is not used by Bhagavan, yoga. Here, because here, yoga sangitam meaning is stopping, controlling, because viyoga. So let's see. So that's why I've written, generally, yoga means coming together. That's why what I say in meditation, always two things, meditator and the object of meditation. So always when we are totally absorbed in meditation, then we are coming together. One becomes one. It's called yoga. So in such meditation, dhyata and dhyeya should come together, and after one, dhata becomes one with dhyeya. That meditator becomes one with object of meditation. But here Bhagavan has given a new definition of yoga. And what is the yoga? So Bhagavan says dissociation from association. So sanyogaha, viyogaha. Both is yoga is common. So that's why I have written sanyogaha, actually sam plus yoga. And viyogaha means vi plus yoga. So when sanyogaha, when sakara, prefix is sam is there, the meaning is connecting. And when with yoga, this vi prefix is there, the meaning is totally opposite. And it is stopping, controlling. So one prefix changes the total meaning. And here the viyoga gives opposite meaning. So until now, we have seen yogaha means connecting, sanyogaha means proper connecting, but viyogaha is total dissociation. So Bhagavan says generally people are more connected with pain. Why Bhagavan has says dukkha sanyogaha? So generally people are connected with pain, sorrow. But when a person should practice meditation, this meditation helps the person is dissociate from the association with pain. I hope you understand. So generally always people are fraught with pain only. I have this pain, I have this pain. Always dukkha sanyoga. And what are the dukh, you know? Puja Swami has given list, but I have written very little. But what are the pain of people in general? So first, I am a human being. I am mortal. I am sansari. From childhood, we have different type of pain we are come in front of. So somebody says, I have dark skin. In spite of lots of education, I have not got proper job. This is also one type of pain. Even some are not satisfied in their marriage life. Some parents, they have problem. Children are not listening. Is one type of pain. And always sorrow is entrenched with us. One or another. Always we are fraught with sorrow only. This is called sansara. This is called life. So generally people are dukkha sanyoga. Always connected with whom? The dukkha only. But this knowledge of oneself, and we practice this knowledge in meditation, then this meditation helps viyoga of dukkha sanyoga. This meditation helps dissociation, helps dissociation from all this sorrow, and it's called dukkha sanyoga is viyoga, from dissociation. So here, Yoga Sangitam, Shankaracharya is written in his Bhashyam is Viparita Lakshanena. Is the Sanyoga and Viyoga is totally Viparita, total opposite. But according to Bhagwan, the Sangitam meaning is called Yoga. And Vidyat meaning is written Vijaniyat, meaning is may you know. So now Bhagwan has concluded the Dhyana Swarupa, definition of yoga, everything. Now again Bhagwan has talked about the meditation. It's very important to sit in meditation. So before second line start, Shankaracharya ji has again put one line. He says, Yoga phalam upasamvritya. The result of yoga is summarized upasamvritya punaha. Again, anvarambena. Again, it is begun. What? Yogasya kartavyata. Is to be done. We have to practice meditation is to be done. Uchyate. Now it will be said by Bhagavan. And how one has to pursue? So it says, Nishchaya anirvedaya. Without feeling, sometimes we are tired. Every day if we sit in meditation, if we are not feeling good, then sometimes we feel I should not sit. It's called a nirveda. Really speaking, vairagya. The meaning of nirveda is given vairagya. But here, Bhagavan says anirvedaya. Without getting any type of vairagya from meditation, you should have love for meditation. It's called anirvedaya. And yoga sadhanatva vidhanartham. Because this meditation is a means. Sadhanatva. It is a means for vidhana. Vidhana means it's again to be done. And this is yoga sadhana. If you practice more and more meditation, more and more be with us. That's why Bhagavan again is repeatedly, he says, one has to sit in meditation. So first, Bhagavan has used word is anirvina chetasa. So what is nirvina? Nirvina means always feel dejected. It's called nirvin. But this is opposite of nirvin. It's called anirvin. And the chetasa, here is a mind. Our mind should never feel dejected. So Shankaracharya has written, na nirvinam anirvinam. Not feeling dejected is anirvinam. Kim tatah chet. Kim tat chetah. Which type of that mind? Tat cheta means chetaha means mind. Kim tat. What is that mind? Tena. Shankaracharya says, Tena nirvedarahitena. Without getting vairagya from meditation. That chetasa. Through that mind, with the help of that mind, person should pursue meditation. Anirvinda. Very beautiful word. I think in Vishnu Sahasranama, this verse is this word. Anirvinda. Sahayogaha. Which type of yoga? That's why again Shankaracharya is mentioned. This yoga means sanyoga. Dukkha sanyoga viyoga yoga. That is sahayoga means here yoga is dissociation from the association with sorrow and pain. What Bhagavan has mentioned in first line, that yoga nishchayena, with firm mind, definitely. And here the nishchayena means with proper discrimination. What is real, what is not real, and how much this meditation will be helpful to me. Everything what we understand is called nishchayena, and yoktavyaha means should be pursued. It's like a dues one has to do. Yoktavyaha. The last definition of yoga Bhagavan has given. Again Bhagavan will describe how to control our mind. And what after controlling mind, what we have to do. This both verses are very beautiful. And Bhagwan has also given where we have to keep our mind in meditation. And both are connecting. So this 24th verse is not complete. It is connecting with 25th. That's why I have written both together. So when we are sitting in meditation, what should we do? Again, Bhagwan has explained. Bhagwan says, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Tyaktvan Sarvan Asheshatah Manasa Eva Indriya Gramam Viniyamya Samantatah. Second verse is Shanehi Shanehi Uparamet Buddhya Dhruti Gruhitaya Atma Sanstham Manah Krutva Nakinchid Api Chintayet. First in line we can say, in first line Bhagwan says, Tyaktva. First order is Tyaktva. Meaning of Tyaktva means having given up. And what one should given up? Kaman, Sarvan Kaman. All desire, or we can say the object of desire, are called Kaman. And they are Kaman. How many we have to give up? Now, what we can retain? So Bhagwan says Asheshata. We have given up totally. Asheshata. According to Pujya Swamiji, always translate Asheshata means without any baki. Everything should totally, one has to given up. And how they are born? So Bhagwan says Sankalpa Prabhavan. Because same repeated thought process, then desire comes, and that desire should be given up. And after having given up all desire, what we have to do? Then Bhagavan says, second line, Viniyamya. First is Tyaktva, second is Viniyamya. The meaning of Viniyamya means withdrawn, having withdrawn. What one have to withdrawn? So again, Indriya Gramam. Gramam, really speaking, is called village. But when more group, no, it's called Gramam. So Bhagwan says, Indriya Gramam, the group of sense organs and organs of actions, both are Viniyamya. Samantata, here Asheshataha, here Samantata is also total, both complete. Viniyamya. And how we can control our Indriya Gramam, our sense organ? So Bhagwan says, Manasaiva. Through our mind, with the help of our mind, we can withdraw our sense organs and both organs. And having withdrawn mind, then what we have to do? So again Bhagwan says, third one, that mind which is withdrawn from external, then it should be Uparamet. Here there is the one, Ruparamet, it is the Uparamet. Uparamet, the meaning is totally resolved. That mind is resolved, but Bhagavan says it will be resolved Shanehi Shanehi. Actually, slowly only, but it is typical style of Sanskrit language, Shanehi Shanehi. But we can't translate it slowly, slowly. But slowly, it should be resolved with the help of Buddhya, with the help of intellect, Dhruti Gruhitaya. The meaning of Dhruti Gruhitaya means this word is the adjective of Buddhi. Which type of Buddhi? Bhagavan says, which has perseverance, which is endowed with perseverance. With that intellect, that mind should be cool, will be resolved. Now mind is totally resolved, but where it should be resolved? Then Bhagavan says, that mind, Atma Sanstham Manaha Krutva. That mind should never kept anyone else, but only Atma Sanstham. It should be kept in consciousness only. And having kept our mind in Atma or consciousness only, na kinchitapi chintaye, then one should not think anything else. So this is the whole crux of this translation of both words. Now Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman. So I have did Anvaya of both verses together. Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman, Sarvan Kaman, Asheshatah Tyaktva. First line. So one by one Bhagavan is withdrawing everything inside. So first we have to give up object of desire and desire. Second thing, Viniyamya. So having controlled all group of sense organ and organs of action, and that mind should be resolved slowly with the help of endowed perseverance. Our mind should be resolved, will resolve slowly, and that mind, Atma Sanstha, they should keep making the mind abide inside the self, with the self. And lastly, Kinchitapi na chintaye. One should not think anything else. Sankalpa Prabhavan. Shankaracharya has written, Sankalpaha Prabhavaha Yesham Kaman. Here the Prabhavaha means to born. Sankalpaha means thought. Sankalpaha Prabhavan means the born of thoughts. Yesham Kaman, those are called Sankalpa Prabhavaha. The meaning of Sankalpa, one who has studied Chandogya, I don't know, but Sankalpa is like a simple thought. It's like a simple thought. So if we are walking inside the street, if we are moving inside the mall, something we see and we start thinking, if I have it, it will be good. If I should keep, this is good, this is good. This is called Sankalpa. Then more we see, then desire comes. This should be with me. Like Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha, Sangas Teshu Upajayate. That Sangaha, here Bhagavan has taken as Sankalpa. So more and more we think of some object. Then if one thought comes and we let it pass, then it doesn't matter. But if we see rose, then we start appreciating this rose is very good, these petals are good. Then fourth or sixth thought may come, it should be with me only. That is called Sankalpa. And this Sankalpa, because of Sankalpa, Sarvan Kaman Prabhavan. It's born, these all desires are born out of Sankalpa only, Bhagavan says. So all desire. And desire of what? So I have written desire of maybe future also, desire of our presence also, and even desires of our past also, how much I have suffered. It should go something. This all desire, it's called Sarvan Kaman. That's why I have written this Kamaha has two meanings. One meaning is simple desire, and another meaning of Kamaha is object of desire. Bhagavan says Asheshatah means totally. This all Kama, Asheshatah, Tyaktva, should be given up. Having given up, actually the meaning is having given up. Shankaracharya has written, one has to given up, but in which manner? Nirlepena, without being affected. Lepa means with attachment. Nirlepa means without attachment. And how can we get away from our desire? And how can we become a nirlepaha? How can we win without? So I have written little notes. How can we given up our object of desire? So this is only way for giving up all people or all desire from our mind is we accept people as they are. Otherwise, we cannot give up any desire. Whatever we have problem with other people, we can give up those all peoples, whatever desire for these people, accommodate as they are, whatever they are, just them accommodate. We can pray for them, whatever we can pray, let it be good, whatever be Bhagwan do for them, always good for them. If we should pray, another, always we have to live in present, and for past, whatever gone, we have to accept our past. This is called tyaktva. Unloading. According to Puja Swamiji's definition, tyaktva means unloading our mind. How can we unload our mind? Like this only. And for future, if we have some desire, then we can make a plan. But we should not worry. And then we can pray. So by doing this also, is called tyaktva. We are unloading everyone. And more and somebody asks, how can we live in present? Because we have burden of past and we have worries of future. So only answer is, everything we can hand over to Ishvara. We can do everything what can be done, but still need not to worry. Everything we can hand over to Ishvara. And to hand over Ishvara, we should understand the importance of Ishvara in our life. That we have discussed yesterday. Okay, what is the Ishvara? If we hand over everything unto Ishvara, it's called tyaktva. We should not keep everything with us. So here the meaning of sankalpa is that I have written, sangaha. Dhyayato vishayan punsaha sangasteshu upajayate. Sangat sanjayate kamaha, then kamat krodho. So sankalpa prabhavan kaman. So what is the sankalpa? Here in 2nd chapter Bhagavan says sangaha. And here Bhagavan says it's sankalpa. Keep on thinking of one object. Whatever comes is called sankalpa. That kama, born of this such thought, it should be given up. And how can? So it says samantataha. Same, asheshataha. Here samantataha means totally. And having given up all sarvan kaman, what we have to do next stage? Bhagavan says, manasa indriya gramam viniyamya. Manasa means, Shankaracharya has written, viveka yuktena. The mind endowed with a discrimination, such mind, indriya grama. So here, the 5 sense organs and 5 organs of action, it's called indriya grama. Group of indriyas, viniyamya, having withdrawn. To make understand, I have shown in Kathopanishad, there is a what Ratha Kalpana is coming, imaginary of chariot is coming. So that's why I have kept. This is the Kathopanishad mantras. Atmanam rathinam viddhi, shariram ratham evatu, buddhintu sarathim viddhi, manah pragraham evacha, indriyani hayan ahuhu, vishayansteshu gochara. So in this imaginary, chariot consider as a body. Shariram rathamevatu. Our body is like a chariot. Sense organ 5 is called hayan ahu. Indriyani hayan ahu. The sense organs are nothing but 5 horses. Buddhim tu sarathim viddhi. Here Krishna is a sarathi. Our intellect is a sarathi, is a driver of Ratha. And manaha pragraham evacha. This is called rain, not to control horses. Mind is a rain. So buddhi dhruti gruhitaya. And who is the Atma? Atmanam ratinam. This Atma means this, really speaking, this consciousness. In that Kathopanishad, it says this ratinam, he doesn't do anything. He's just sitting. Here Arjuna is fighting, but really speaking, when Rath is, chariot is going on, that king is always sitting inside. And that Sarthi is always driving the chariot. That's why Bhagavan says, body is chariot is like a body, horses is like a sense organ, this reins is a mind, and intellect is a Sarthi. And what Sarthi does? Sarthi always, with the help of rein, he controls the horses. Otherwise, if he cannot control horses, they all five can go in different side. If different side horses go, then what that person can do? That's why this rein is given to control the horses. Same way, mind is a rein and charioteer is a buddhi. So buddhi has to control mind, and that mind controls the indriya. That's why it's, and if we control, it is called viniyamya. And if we can control, then this, whatever we ask our sense organ, it follows that always, whatever our orders. It's called Vishaya Gramam, Indriya Gramam, Viniyamya, Samantata. So with the help of mind, with the help of intellect, one should control mind and sense organs. And when mind and sense organs are under control, then what to do? So Bhagavan says, Dhruti gruhitaya buddhya shanehi uparamet. Dhruti gruhitaya buddhya. That's why Shankaracharya has written, Dhruti means dhairyena, with the perseverance. Gruhitaya means endowed with this dhruti. Dhruti gruhitaya dhairyena yuktya. Who here buddhi, our buddhi is endowed with perseverance. That buddhi, what is the role of that buddhi? It says shanehi. Slowly. And Shankaracharya has written, na sahasa. It should not be too fast. That's why during meditation, always this guided meditation, whoever doing guided meditation, that person says, if mind goes out, bring it back. If mind goes out, bring it back. And if mind goes out for 1,000 times, need not to worry, just bring it back without any frustration. It's called shanehi. Because poor mind, from birth up to this age, you always see external only. They never thinks anything internal, So it always goes out. That's why shanehi. That's why slowly, that mind will be under control, and one day will come uparamet. That mind is totally resolved. And if mind is resolved, then what to do? That Bhagavan says, Atma samstham manah krutva kinchidapi na chintayet. Then that mind should be fixed, should be abide in the one real nature. But how can we keep our mind? That we will see next. Is already 9:20. Any question regarding this?
No question.
No question?
Hari Om Mataji.
Yes.
Mataji, I have one question.
Yeah.
Mataji, if the sorrows of our mind and the happiness of our mind and anything that goes in our mind, and Atma is, maybe we call it a Sachidananda Swarupa, and it transfers from one body to another after death. So how does thoughts in our mind or sadness in our mind or pap or punya, it affects our Atma? If I'm wrong or right, I don't know, but until now, what I've learned from Vedant is what I'm trying to say. And you also very well talked about the dukkha and how we should control our senses and the organs, and how does it affect our atma from reaching the aim of Satchidananda Swarupa, that is that we should always be happy and we should be one with the God, and how it affects the moksha also.
You know, there is when Atma comes, you know, there are different meanings of Atma. One Atma is called mind also. Sometimes Atma is a body also. And in the travels from one body to another body is a Jivatma, not Atma. And that Atma, a simple Atma, which is all pervasive, is called Satchidanand. Traveling is not by Atma, is always by Jivatma only. One who considers oneself is a mind, it's called Jivatma. A person who considers, I am only mind, the limitation of mind is mind limitation. Whatever we are thinking through mind and we consider I am mind, it's called Jivatma. And traveling is only for Jivatma only, from one body to another body. And whenever we are always connected with our body, mind, sense complex, when we are considered, my real entity is nothing but up to limit of my body, mind, sense complex, and whatever body feels, whatever mind feels, this is me only. This is the problem. Moksha never affected, you know. Moksha is always, nobody can affect moksha. Because moksha is always Satchidan Ananda Swarupa only. But this thinking of, because of ignorance, moksha when our mind will be pure, purification of mind will take place, and more that teaching will go inside. And with the grace of Guru also, with the grace of teacher, when everything we can understand properly, then you will understand there is no sorrow at all. Actually, really speaking, there is no sorrow. If you feel any sorrow in dream, do you affect it when you get up? Why? Because it is not true, no? What you have felt inside the dream, it is not true. Then after waking, you said this is not true. Same here also, same thing. This is also considered as a long dream of Ishvara.
Yes, Mataji.
So when we wake up from this also, from wake up means when we wake up from ignorance, when we have our ignorance will drop out, then we will know there is no sorrow at all. And whatever sorrow is as though appear is a body mind sense complex level, and I am not body mind sense complex. But it will take time, you know. If you keep on listening, if you do something japa for Ishvara, you should sit for some prayer, something, the time will come. Everything you said, yeah, it's very good, but still it take time.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, yeah. Anything else?
No, Mataji. That's
okay. Yeah. Now I'm asking anybody else who would like to ask anything?
Swaminiji, this is the third definition of yoga, right? According to Samatvam Yoga Uchyate and then Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam.
Yeah.
And now it is Dukkha Sanyoga Viyogam is there.
Yeah. Very beautiful definition, this one is.
Yeah. So when you said, Swaminiji, that staying in the present moment, I think of that as Dukkha Sanyoga Viyogam, because when you go to the past, again, you are connecting with sorrow. When you're thinking of the future, again, you are connecting with sorrow.
Yeah.
But you stay with the present, what is. Whatever needs to be done, you are staying with the present moment. And that is Dukkha Sanyoga Viyogam, isn't it? In a different way, you can think about it.
Yeah.
So, Swamiji, on that present moment, I have a thought. So, when you say present, there is no time. Because when you say now, it's already gone. So it's past, already past, or the future. So present means no time.
Really speaking, no time, yeah.
This is what Ishvara is. Satchidananda Atma. No, because he's Kala.
Kalatita.
Kalatitaha. Kala, space. Is, what, a space also. What is the word for space?
Deshakala.
Deshakala Atita. Yeah. So that is Ishvara.
Yeah.
Sat Shri Akal.
Yes,
Guru Nanak Ji says.
Yeah, Guru
when
Nanak
you say now, staying, that means timeless. That means your identification with Ishvara, that point.
Yeah. That's why if you know, like this is that level, people cannot understand, but still, if a person can understand whatever here is Ishvara, I have just play my role only. I need not to worry anything else. Then also we are little bit away from our sorrow. This is high thinking, because in this always says kalam is also mithya. In that there is one verse is past is past gone by. In future is future. We don't know. Let it come. So there is no future also. But while speaking also, what I speak is just past. So really speaking, kala is also mithya is very relative. But still we are connected to time only. Still we are painful. So still we are painful. Still we have sorrow. So how can we come out from this sorrow? So only one. Always connected with Ishvara. Or otherwise we connected with our real nature. But real nature is still difficult.
Always in awareness, that means.
Otherwise Ishvara is more better choice for us. Anything? Then shall we do Purna with that?
Yes, Swami.
Om
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha. Hari Om.